Hello, this is Linda Barrett. This is my course project assignment, Action Cycle 2, Performance in Social Change Initiatives for my Walden University capstone course. Annabeth was 43 when the health of both of her aging parents began to take a turn for the worse. Both had suffered from different ailments and health issues in the past, but were still able to live independently. They had continued to live on their own in the house they built in the 50s, the home where they had raised Annabeth and her two brothers. This year, Annabeth's mother was not healing from injuries she had sustained during a fall 6 months before. She still had severe bruising on her lower legs, and that prompted her doctor to order further tests. Those tests revealed that she had COPD and 2 aortic aneurysms. She had been smoking since she was 15. Her children had frequently urged her to quit, and her grandchildren regularly threw away her cigarettes and attempted to guilt her into quitting. But she was still smoking about 8 cigarettes a day. Now it was clear that she had to stop smoking and would need help and someone to be accountable to in order to do it. Her father, who had survived a heart attack several years earlier, had blockages that needed to be addressed surgically and was now showing early signs of dementia. At 43, Annabeth was a single, divorced, working mother living in rural North Carolina. Her ex-husband had been out of the picture for 20 years and had never provided any financial support for their children. When Annabeth and her siblings realized that their parents should no longer live on their own in their rapidly deteriorating house, they knew it would not be easy, but had no idea how challenging it was going to be. Annabeth's brothers both lived within an hour of their parents, but were very busy with their jobs and financially strained raising their own families. They began discussing options. They investigated and tried several different scenarios. At one point, Annabeth's mother was rushed to the emergency room after yet another fall. After a complicated orthopedic surgery, followed by a long stint in a rehab center, Annabeth and her brothers visited several different assisted living facilities. They were all more expensive than anticipated, and more than what the three of them felt they could afford. And they had all heard horror stories from their friends about experiences they had with their parents. One of their friends put his mother in the most expensive, most highly recommended facility he could find, and he was happy in general, but felt that he had to be there often in order for his mother to receive the care that he wanted her to have. He said that one week after returning from a business trip, his mother had lost weight and seemed very frail. He found out that a new employee had been leaving her food on a table that his mother, who was completely bedridden, could not reach. Then, when other employees came to collect her tray, they assumed she just didn't like what they had served, wasn't hungry, or had eaten something else brought in by her son. So essentially, she had been starving all week because no one was keeping an eye on what was happening. So, being a loving, devoted daughter, Annabeth quit her job in North Carolina and moved her two children back to the family home to care for her mother. Her father moved in with her younger brother, his wife, and their children because they all agreed that it was too much for Annabeth to care for both of them and her children at the same time. At first it was fine, but her father's advancing dementia caused a series of problems, and after several months his wife insisted that they make other arrangements. Growing up, Annabeth's family had been very close and a very loving family, but the stress related to the physical, emotional, and financial burden of caring for their parents had torn their family apart. She and her brothers had gotten into many heated arguments, and the boys' marriages had been strained almost to the breaking point. You may recognize some of Annabeth's struggles, or you may have a completely different experience. Either way, we need to hear your story. By sharing your pain, your struggles, and any successes that you've had, that you've experienced in dealing with your own aging parents, we can all unite together to create a brighter future for all. Our elderly deserve to be respected, to live with dignity, to be provided with high quality of care, and to be able to enjoy their twilight years. And as medical advances, more fitness options, and better nutrition are lengthening our lives, the reality of simultaneous sandwich generations is already emerging. Changes in the traditional family unit, as well as longevity itself, make it necessary for us to rethink how we care for our aging population, how we fund their care, and how we ease the burden on members of the sandwich generation. Please join us in creating a new vision for our future.